educated, you're a worker, you're now a capitalist, you're contributing, you're creating jobs, I would say you're net positive.
Do you not think most Muslims do that?
I don't think depending on where they're coming from, they don't, because if their countries did a good job, why would they leave it?
War that we caused?
War that who caused?
That we caused.
So they're leaving because of us.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Pull up a chair because this one is a heavyweight clash you do not want to miss. In this video, Mehdi Hasan sits across from Patrick Bet David, and what starts as a back and forth about Britain quickly explodes into something much bigger. They go head to head on immigration, the real story behind the UK economy, and then the conversation cracks wide open into Iran, American foreign policy, and decades of history that one side really does not want to confront. Patrick keeps reaching for charts and talking points, and Mehdi keeps dismantling them one by one. Trust me, the back half is where it gets its electric, so stick around all the way through, because the strongest moments hit when you least expect them. And while you're here, drop a comment and let me know where in the world you're tuning in from. I genuinely love seeing how far this channel reaches. Alright, enough from me, let's get into it.
So you represented the media on the left, okay? So Rob, can you go back to that story, that New York Times, if you search the two different words of George Floyd versus what happened with Novak, you just had it up right now a minute ago.
Come on, you're going to do this?
No,
the media is
fine.
The media is...
But wait a minute. Wait, this is New York Times. Go to the first one.
I'm not a fan of the news.
You type in Henry Nowak. How many names? Results, 19. Go to the next one, Rob. George Floyd, 6397. There is no incentive to tell this story because it doesn't go with the narrative.
So I disagree with you. I grew up in the UK. Right-wing media has been telling these stories all my life. All my life, all I've seen is black people and Muslim people on the front pages. Have you looked at the front pages of the Daily Mail, the Daily Express? What do you mean the UK is being destroyed?
You think UK is doing good?
Yeah, I mean, no, but not for the reasons you think.
Why do you think UK is not doing good?
I think economically it's doing very badly. It had very bad leadership for the last 15 years. The Conservative government that came in 2010 did an austerity program after the financial crisis.
You put it on Cameron. Cameron is
David Cameron and George Osborne
Yep.
did an austerity program that basically gutted the British state, gutted our competitiveness, didn't cut the deficits, actually ruined our fiscal credibility, downgraded our credit rating, destroyed our growth over the course of a decade, undermined our health service.
Do you put anything tied to immigration to that?
No.
None.
Immigration's been a boost for the British economy. In fact, cutting immigration is bad. Look at Brexit. Brexit's been a disaster for the British economy. Do you know how many people in Britain want to rejoin the EU? A majority. Pull that up. The majority of Britons want to go back into the EU. Why do you think that is? Why do you think that is, Pat? Why do you think Britons want to go back into the EU? You just said Britain's being destroyed.
No, but have you looked at the crime numbers? What's going on in UK?
Crime is very low.
Have you looked at
crime is very low, Patrick?
So let me ask you.
Do you know what the crime rate in London is?
So did you see the tweet that came out yesterday?
I know you're not a fan of Sadiq Khan. You're not a fan of my good friend Sadiq Khan, are you?
What EU did, you saw the tweet that came out, what EU was saying they're doing, that they want to find a way to get rid of illegal immigrants?
Okay, you're jumping around, Patrick. Britain is not in the EU. We're talking about Britain. You just said Britain's being destroyed, which is nonsense. And then you said crime rate. Have you looked at the London crime rates? Last year, London had its lowest per capita murder rate since records began, had the lowest volume of homicides for 30 years under Sadiq Khan, third-term mayor, who people in America, Elon Musk, Donald Trump, get very worked up about. I don't know if you guys get worked up about him. Been a very successful mayor, and crime has come down by record numbers. Violent crime and murder.
When you're looking at EU, do you know which country in EU has the lowest rape rate?
We're talking about the UK, Patrick.
Stay with UK. Stay with UK.
The UK is not in the EU anymore, sadly.
EU, to me, I'll put them somewhat together in the same area.
They left 10 years ago.
By the way, so you're saying immigration coming from all these countries has been a successful project for the EU?
What's your definition of success?
Many different ways.
Economically, the EU desperately needs migrants. Have you seen the age rate? Pull up the demographic.
Okay, so
it's a dying continent with a very low birth rate, as Elon Musk likes to point out.
So when you think
they got no one there to work, to pay taxes, to look after the elderly, to run their health services, etc.
Okay, this is the part that gets me, because right out of the gate, Patrick tries to run the oldest move in the book. He pulls up search results, waves around numbers, and acts like he just caught the media red-handed burying a story. And Mehdi does not even flinch. When Mehdi said he grew up in the UK and right-wing media has been telling these exact stories his entire life, that completely flips the table. Because here's what people don't realize. The whole premise that the press refuses to cover certain crimes is a myth, and Mehdi lived on the receiving end of the opposite. He watched those front pages every single day. Then Patrick pivots to this idea that Britain is being destroyed, and you can feel him reaching. Mehdi comes back with actual structure. He names the real damage as a decade of austerity under a conservative government, and that is the part that matters because it points to a cause instead of just a feeling. You have to understand, Austerity was a deliberate political choice, not a natural disaster, and it hollowed out public services for years. Then Patrick throws immigration in as the villain, and Mehdi shuts it down cold. He said immigration has been a boost for the British economy, and cutting it actually hurts. That is the inconvenient fact nobody on that side wants to sit with. And my favorite moment? Patrick keeps drifting toward the EU and Mehdi refuses to let him escape. Mehdi said Britain is not in the EU. We're talking about Britain. Clean. Then he closes it by pointing out London hit its lowest per capita crime rate since records began. Patrick had no answer. He just changed the subject again.
So maybe the one argument I'll go to see what you'll say about this. Do you think the West, when it comes down to West, Muslims can coexist with the West?
Took a handbrake.
I'm curious.
We went from Britain's being destroyed to London crime to EU to Muslim.
I'm curious.
Okay, we got to Muslim.
Tell me where you are with this. Do you think they can
I'm Muslim.
coexist?
What do you think
Do you think they can coexist?
Do you think I can coexist with
I think you can coexist.
Why me?
Educated, you're a worker, you're now a capitalist, you're contributing, you're creating jobs. I would say you're net positive.
Do you not think most Muslims do that?
I don't think depending on where they're coming from, they don't, because if their countries did a good job, why would they leave it?
War that we caused?
War that who caused?
That we caused.
So they're leaving because of us.
Well, you know the big controversy in the UK over the boats, the small boats coming across the channel. Do you know what the top 3 nationalities are in those boats?
Tell me.
Iran number 1.
Okay.
Afghanistan number 2. Iraq number 3. Now,
So-
Iran is a current war. Let's park Iran. But are you telling me we're not responsible for the mess in Afghanistan and Iraq? Come on.
When you look at this, let me show you this. Rob, can you pull this up? When it comes down to, let me see which one I got here.
I love Rob bringing up these.
No,
I love he brings this up.
I know you like numbers.
No, I love it. I love being proved right as well. It's
Per capita.
good for my ego.
No. Per capita. When you look at the countries, Rob, I think you got it. Gulf states, how they perform per capita versus some of the other Muslim nations.
That's okay.
Look at this one here.
Because they got oil and gas.
You think it's only oil and gas that's causing them? You don't think?
Did you know what these countries were like in
Let
the
me ask you a
60s
question.
and 70s?
Iran has plenty of oil.
Yeah.
How come they're not in here?
Maybe
Iraq has got oil.
Can I answer your question?
But this has been going on for a minute. This is not a one-year thing.
Can I answer your question?
Sure.
Why do you think Iran's not doing well economically? Should I go through the list?
You're going to say it's sanctions. You're going to say it's
course I'm
because
gonna
of
say
America.
sanctions.
You're going to say it's America's fault.
Not just America's fault.
So how come
but partly, hold on. How much, okay, you left Iran during the Iran-Iraq war, right? Is that
I left Iran after Khomeini died, 6 weeks after Khomeini died.
Okay, so Iran-Iraq was done by then. So
July 15th, 89.
So Iran-Iraq was done. Iran-Iraq was 1980 to 1988.
Yes.
$600 billion of damage done to Iranian infrastructure, the economy, the cost of that war.
But
that was a war that Saddam
Whose fault
Hussein.
is that? Oh, you put it on Saddam.
Whose fault do you think it is? Who invaded who?
So, by the way,
hold on, Patrick, come on.
You don't at all put that on IRGC?
No, I put it on the
You
guy.
don't put it on Islamic Revolutionary
I put
Guard?
it on the country that invades the other country. That's how the world works. I blame Russia for the Ukraine war.
Why
they
do
invaded
they have a hard
Ukraine.
time getting along with other people?
Why did Saddam Hussein? Are you pro
Iran.
Saddam?
No. Why does Iran have a hard time getting along with other
That
people?
was when I said. I said there was an Iran-Iraq war. You said, is America to blame? I said, yes, we backed Saddam Hussein. Did we not back Saddam Hussein? Did Donald Rumsfeld not fly and hug? You can pick up Rob can bring up a video of Donald Rumsfeld hugging Saddam Hussein in 1983 in Baghdad. Were we not supporting the Iraqi invasion of Iran that cost Iran 1 million lives? $600 billion of infrastructure damage. You're saying that didn't play any role in Iran's economic future.
Why?
Now here's where it gets really good. Patrick tries to corner Mehdi on whether Muslims can coexist with the West, like it's some gotcha. And Mehdi turns it into a history lesson. When he said the reason people leave certain countries is war that we caused, the whole frame shifts. Because that is the question that side never wants to answer honestly. Who lit the match? Watch the boats argument. Patrick brings up the small boats crossing into Britain like it proves his point, and Mehdi just hands him the receipts. The top nationalities are Iran, Afghanistan, and Iraq, and then he asks the question that lands like a hammer. Mehdi said, are we not responsible for the mess in Afghanistan and Iraq? You cannot wave that away. Then comes the chart. Patrick pulls up GDP per capita, oil-rich Gulf states stacked against Iran, and acts like it proves these countries just can't compete. And this is where you have to understand the real history. Mehdi points back to the Iran-Iraq War in the 1980s, and he reminds everyone that the United States backed the side that invaded Iran. Mehdi said there is documented footage of Donald Rumsfeld hugging Saddam Hussein in 1983 in Baghdad. That is real. It happened. Rumsfeld went there as an American envoy and shook hands with the very man who launched that war. And the kicker. Mehdi said that invasion cost Iran around 1 million lives and $600 billion in damage. So when Patrick puts up a chart comparing a country that endured 8 years of devastating war against peaceful oil monarchies, That comparison is not just unfair, it is dishonest. Iran did not start that. It was on the receiving end, while American support flowed to the other side.
You're
not answering my question.
No, but you don't understand what I'm saying. No, but Mehdi, let me ask you.
You want me to acknowledge that?
No, but look, let's give credit to, for instance, when Mamdani goes to the White House, you and I both gave credit to both of them for being diplomatic.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Do you think Iranian leadership with the IRGC is diplomatic?
No. They've been horrific in their leadership. I think they've given themselves, they've given their opponents a stick with which to beat them. I was a big critic of Ahmadinejad back in the day. He said dumb things.
So do you think Khomeini was good for Iran?
Do I think Khomeini was good for Iran?
Do you think Khomeini was good for Iran?
No, in hindsight, of course not. If you look at the record today,
then we're on the same page. What I'm trying to do is,
I've said this before. I went on Piers Morgan's show. Just to be clear, for people who don't know, I'm Shia. Right? I'm a Shia Muslim.
I know you're Shia.
Which is the majority religion in Iran.
Sure.
Right? So but there are two types of Shias. This is a very crude, I'm trying to explain to your audience. Religiously, theologically, politically, there's two types of Shias. There are those who believe in what's called Vilayat Faqih, WF. They believe that Khomeini, this was a political theory, some say a religious theory, pushed by Ayatollah Khomeini, that said that the clerics, the Ayatollahs, the mullahs, whatever you want to call them, they should rule. Power should be with them. That is the model that Iran has followed. There is another school of thought that comes out of Iraq, mainly out of a city called Najaf, and an Ayatollah called Sistani, who is the leading Shia Ayatollah in Iraq today. And they say, no, we are all for religion. We're all, we want everyone to practice Islam, Shia Islam, but we're not going to rule. After the Americans toppled Saddam, Ayatollah Sistani did not do a Khomeini. He did not say, I'm going to become supreme leader of Iraq. He said, have elections, democracy, vote. I'm going to stay in my house and I'm going to give you advice, religious advice when you need it. I follow the Ayatollah Sistani view of the world, crudely put. Sure. I don't follow the Ayatollah Khomeini view of the world. So when you say to me, was he good for Iran? As a governmental system, no, I don't support the governing system of Iran the way it is.
And this is the part that blows my mind, because Patrick clearly expected Mehdi to defend the Iranian government, and Mehdi refuses to play that game. When Patrick asks if the IRGC leadership is diplomatic, Mehdi said no, they've been horrific in their leadership. Think about how that destroys the trap. Patrick wanted a cartoon. He wanted someone who excuses everything. Instead, Mehdi shows you that you can criticize a government and still tell the truth about who damaged that country from the outside. And here is the educational gold in this clip. Mehdi breaks down something most people watching have never heard. There are two completely different schools of thought inside Shia Islam about whether clerics should hold political power. One says the clergy should rule. The other, centered around the city of Najaf in Iraq, says the opposite. Mehdi points to Ayatollah Sistani, who after the fall of Saddam Hussein did not grab power. Mehdi said Sistani told people to have elections, democracy, and to vote, while he stayed out of governing entirely. That is a massive distinction, and it proves the lazy take that Islam and democracy cannot mix is simply wrong. Then Patrick tries one more time, asking if the founding figure of the Iranian system was good for the country, and Mehdi does not dodge. He said no, in hindsight, of course not. And he closes the whole thing by making it crystal clear. Mehdi said he does not support the governing system of Iran the way it is. So think about what just happened. The honest position is the one that holds two ideas at the same time. Yes, Iran's hardline leadership has failed its own people. And yes, Western foreign policy, especially American policy, spent decades crushing the very moderates who could have built something better, while arming the dictator who invaded them. You don't get to bomb a country, back its enemies, choke it with sanctions, and then point at a chart and act confused about why it struggled. Mehdi held both truths at once, and that is why he wins this exchange. That is what an actual argument looks like. So what do you guys think of this? Leave your thoughts down in the comments, please like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.